Today I'm going to talk to you about the top 10 questions asked by real estate professionals to their trusted title company. My name's Kevin Tacher, the founder and CEO at Independence Title. That's right, your Chief Everything Officer. And today I'm going to answer a poll that we did talking about the top 10 questions real estate agents ask their title company. Question number one is, what is the role of a title company? Are they attorneys representing the clients? The answer is no. A title company plays an independent third-party intermediary to the deal. We are an independent party. We do not represent the buyer. We do not represent the seller. We do not represent the lender or anybody else involved in the transaction. So what role does the title company play? We are in the middle. We facilitate the transaction between the buyers, the sellers, the lenders, the real estate agents, getting the deal to the table to close it successfully for all parties. So we act as an independent third party. We will hold escrow for the transaction, which means you put your deposit with us. But our job is not to represent one party or the other. It's to bring the meeting of the minds together to get you to the closing table faster. Now on to question number two is, what is involved in the title search process? You know, many years ago, I've been doing this over 2 decades. I used to run the title searches myself. Now we use a title plant, which is part of our underwriter. So a title company is an agent for a national underwriter. So whether it's First American Title, Westcor, Fidelity, Stewart, we are an agent for a national underwriter. So the national underwriter does the title search. They look at the history of the property, everything recorded in the public records, whether it's mortgages, liens, judgments, bankruptcies, foreclosures, anything that would cause a lien against the property or the owners of the property. They formulate all of this information and they take a title search product and they put it on what's called a title commitment. That title commitment is what we use as a checklist to get that deal across the finish line. So we do a title search with our underwriter, we formulate all of that information, we put it on what's called a title commitment, which is our checklist to get you to the closing table. How do you handle when you have title defects that show up on the title search? Well, that's a great question number 3. We do a title search, and as I told you with question number 2, we produce a title commitment. On that title commitment are many defects and requirements that need to be completed. So what does your title company do to earn the fees of issuing title insurance? Well, we need to take that title commitment, which is a checklist of everything that needs to be done. And if we find a defect, let's just say maybe an old mortgage for the seller that was satisfied in a refinance, but they never actually satisfied it in public records. Or maybe there was a divorce and the husband or the wife never signed off on the property, giving it to the other spouse in the divorce proceedings. So these are the things that we are going to look at as a title company and figure out, what do we need to do to resolve this issue to get that deal across the finish line? If you remember, in question number 1, it's the role of the title company. Our job is to do a meeting of the minds to get everyone across the finish line successfully. So we take that title commitment, we look at any defects that may be in the history of the title, and then we will try and solve those defects as quickly as possible. It may mean to reach out to old people that own the property, maybe old banks, maybe the city if there were code enforcement liens that were never satisfied. So our job as the title company to review that title commitment and make sure you as the buyer get free, clear, and marketable title for your purchase. Question number 4 and 5 kind of go hand in hand together, talking about what type of insurance do we issue and what does it cover? Well, I'm here to tell you we issue 2 different types of title insurance policies. That is 1, owner's title insurance to protect you, the buyer, if anyone were to come back and put a claim to your property. The second one we issue is a mortgage policy. If you're not buying your property for cash and you are getting a loan on the property, we are going to issue the lender a title insurance policy to protect the money that they're giving you to buy that home. Now, one big question we get all the time is, how come when you refinance, you have to buy title insurance again? And that's a valid question. You are not buying title insurance for you, the owner. You already bought it when you first purchased the property. But when you are refinancing, you are buying new title insurance for that lender to protect that new money that the lender is going to be giving you. So we issue two types of policies, an owner's title insurance policy and a lender's title insurance policy. And this is going to protect you, the buyer, and the lender giving you the money for any title defects that would come up in the chain of title. Maybe an old heir to an estate comes back to claim rights to the property. Maybe foreclosure proceedings weren't done correctly and someone's owed money. Maybe there's HOA liens that were unpaid and never found at closing. So issues will come up where people will put claim to your property, and that is what you are buying title insurance for, to make sure you as the buyer have free, clear, and marketable title, but most importantly, the right to use your property the way you want to use your property. That's what we insure with your owner's policy, and we protect the lender with a lender's policy for that money they're giving you to buy your home. Question number 6 is a good one. How long does the title process usually take? Well, I'm here to tell you it could take anywhere from a few days up to a few weeks, depending on what we find in the history of the property. Remember, we have to do a title search and uncover title defects. If we have a defect that comes up in the history of the property, we need to deal with that defect. So it could be an old mortgage that comes up, and now we are going to have to reach out to the old lender to figure out, was that loan satisfied? Most likely it was. And receive a payoff letter, a closure letter, and a satisfaction of mortgage. So it's kind of a loaded question. The title process from start to finish, we've done in as quickly as a few days, but typically you're looking at 3 to 4 weeks. So what you need to do is make sure when you're buying a property, your real estate agent is giving you enough time to make sure we can get clear title in place so you can buy that property. Question number 7 is a good one. What are the common closing costs you see with a title company? Well, I'm here to tell you not all title companies are created equal. Some have higher closing costs, some have lower closing costs. The things you want to look for, which we actually wrote about in our book, Title Insurance Tips and Secrets, back in 2009, is to understand that title insurance is a promulgated rate, which means the state of Florida dictates how much you pay for title insurance. Now, can a title company charge you more? Absolutely. But if you understand promulgated rate, you would know that they can charge you promulgated rate for the owner's policy and a simultaneous issue for $25 for your loan policy. Some title companies charge $200, $300, $400, $500 for that second policy. And understanding how to calculate proper closing costs could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars at your closing. On top of that, you're going to see title companies have a settlement or closing fee. That is the charge for them to do all of the work that we've talked about in this video in order to get you free, clear, and marketable title. Now, that's all we charge. You will see other title companies will charge miscellaneous junk fees, wire fees, courier fees, exam fees, doc prep fees. They're just a bunch of fees. Don't let them charge you a bunch of fees. Make sure you understand how to calculate accurate closing costs. We do have a closing cost calculator on our website, TitleRate.com, where you can see exactly what title insurance costs and exactly what our settlement charges are. So by understanding these, again, could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars at your closing. So I encourage you to always shop around and then talk to your title company about where you can save some money. Question number 8 is a good one. How do we ensure all liens and judgments are satisfied at closing to give you clear, marketable, insurable title? Well, that's a great question. So again, we talked about it earlier on in the video where we take that title commitment and we are going to look at multiple things on that title commitment. One is the seller that's in record to the title. Then what we are going to do is take that title commitment and see what are the requirements in order to issue clear, marketable, and insurable title. And third thing, and the most important, is we are going to look at the title commitment Schedule B2 and see what are all of the exceptions to title. That means everything we are not going to cover. So we want to make sure there are no liens and encumbrances that would cause you a defect in your title to own that property and do what you want with that property. So I encourage you, when you get that title commitment, ask your title company to review it with you. They can tell you all of the requirements, all of the exceptions, and everything that needs to be done to make sure you get clear, marketable, and insurable title to that property. But most important, you want to make sure there are no existing liens and encumbrances. I have seen title companies take old liens that they're just too lazy to clear and put them as exceptions to the title insurance policy. That's exactly what you want to avoid. So ask us any questions, reach out. We're always happy to talk about title insurance and the process of getting that deal across the finish line. Let's get on to the last two questions. Question number 9 is, what is the role of a title company in the closing process? Now, we talked about the title search and the title commitment, everything that's done, but we never actually talked about the role. A lot of people always want to know, well, what does the closer do? Well, the closer is going to first open up that file, take in your escrow, send you escrow letters, order title searches, lien searches, estoppels, payoffs. They're going to communicate with the buyers and the sellers and the lenders and maybe some attorneys that are involved. That is going to be that process at the very beginning. And then once all of these searches come in, we need to formulate a plan. What is on the searches? What do we need to do to clear all the requirements on the searches? Again, to get you across the finish line. Now, once we clear all those title matters, that's when the fun part happens, where we get to reach out to all parties and tell them that we are cleared to close that deal. We are cleared to get that buyer closed and into their home. So then what we are going to do is arrange a closing. We're going to set up a closing date. We're going to prepare all the closing documents. We're going to work with the lenders and the attorneys and the real estate agents to make sure everything is together. And then we are going to call what's called a meeting of the minds, where we get everyone together in order to close that deal. And then once we close the deal, everything is signed, sealed, and delivered. We are then going to do the fun part. That is funding the deal. That's where we release the checks to make sure everyone gets paid. So there are a lot of things that go into getting a deal across the finish line, working with the right title company to get it done seamless, without any mistakes, with great communication, and the best fees in the business. Reach out to us and ask how we can help you get that deal across the finish line. Question number 10. This is one of my favorite. How do we deal with disputes when they come up? And I will tell you, that's one of the things that sets Independence Title apart from our competition. A lot of title companies will tell you to go file a claim, call somebody else. It's not their problem. It's not their mistake. You can't have a copy of our insurance. Many of you know I was a firefighter, moved down 20 days before 9/11 from New York, and I value my relationships with my clients to make sure we go in the deal together and we leave the deal together, leaving no one behind. So what does that mean for you? It means that we have your back. We will resolve any title defects. We will pay any claims that need to be paid. Sometimes it's something small as like an open utility bill that was never paid. We will pay it. Sometimes it's an open permit that was not uncovered. We will help get it closed. And sometimes it could be a big title claim. We will facilitate the claims process, open it with our underwriter, and fight for your rights. Again, to make sure you have free, clear, and marketable title to your property. So I always say in my videos, who you do business with matters most. Make sure you are choosing a title company that has your back, that will go the extra mile, and most importantly, be there before, during, and after the closing. Well, my name's Kevin Tacher. I hope you've enjoyed these 10 tips on what realtors typically ask a title company to understand their role in the transaction. My name's Kevin Tacher with Independence Title. I hope you choose us, and we'll see you at the closing table.